I'm Grant Jackson. I'm here with Jerry Carter of the Occupy Kankakee movement. Jerry, why are you here today?
Well, I'm here for a number of reasons, but mainly one of the big things is the corporate contributions have been infecting and polluting and poisoning the political process, and that's one of the big things that I advocate for, is getting the corporate contributions completely out, because basically money from these corporations is getting them say, it's getting them decisions made in government, and regular citizens are not being listened to by their representatives, are not being considered at all. Another thing is, when this first started, there was very little media coverage of it, and I had to search for a lot of things, and I started seeing things like hundreds of people being arrested on the Brooklyn Bridge for peacefully protesting. I saw a couple of young ladies get maced, apparently for being corralled by the police in New York City. That kind of outraged me a little bit. Troy Davis being executed in Georgia after 7 of 9 witnesses that recanted their testimony to have him convicted. They ignored that, and one of these witnesses was that didn't recant his story was implicated in the murder, and they went ahead with his execution. It kind of told me that the criminal justice systems a bit screwed up, the government's a bit screwed up. There's a lot of environmental issues that are going on right now, and a lot of it's just based around how our capitalist system is working at this point. I am not against capitalism. I just want to make that clear. I worked 15 hours overtime this week, and in my spare time built a website. But we're being portrayed as some kind of socialist hippie movement, and it's not that. Personally, I want Reaganomics to work for me. Okay, I don't have a problem with Reaganomics if they're honoring the spirit of why it was created. Trickle-down economics is tax cuts for large corporations to create gainful employment for citizens, and that's just not happening. Now, in Kankakee, industry abandoned Kankakee long ago. There was lots of good jobs. They were gone. Places like the old A.O. Smith building is now filling back up with jobs, but they don't pay wages that make people capable of having any type of extra income to pursue their interests outside of work, afford very good health insurance, things like that.
Okay. So is this a protest mainly against government or against businesses?
Both. That's one thing I want to definitely make clear, is that this is both on both sides, government and corporations. Government because they're allowing the political process to be dictated by corporations, and corporations because their tax cuts are not being used properly to create jobs for people, good jobs for people. I've been in the workforce for 16 years. Unfortunately, I was kicked out of my house at 17 years old, and I have yet to find a job that offers me health insurance. I had to drop out of school, so I was in a lot of food service jobs, and they don't pay well. They don't offer insurance. Anybody with a bit of an independent mind, they don't like that. There's no room for promotion for those types of things, and it's just kind of been this cycle of trying to find that right thing where I can be insured and I can make a little extra money and I can focus on my hobbies. What is the point of existing if I am to work and to die? We're a humanity of thinkers and human beings and all these independent minds that we can communicate with one another, that we don't have the time to do that, or we don't have the money to do that, and we've become more and more separated from one another and more polarized from one another. And I think there's more within all of us that exists that we agree on and we don't agree on, and we're falling for these tricks that our politicians are doing to make us seem like we're so different from one another, and so it's divide and conquer is what it is. And while that's happening, they're profiting from this. I mean, there's an article that just came out last week about how politicians use the information they get because they're in government that the regular population doesn't get to perform practices of insider trading. And I believe it's around 41 senators over the last 4 years have at least doubled their wealth. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. You know, there's no conscience in government, there's no conscience in business, and there needs to be.
Are there any specific organizations in Kankakee that you're protesting?
No, there's not really any specific organization necessarily. I think that there's the Economic Alliance. They leased property out of the 308 exit on 57 to build the Hilton Garden Inn, to build the Walmart, to build these gas stations, and this is borrowed money that these corporations are using on leased land, and it's not done with capital; it's done with borrowed money, and it's just another retail, another service industry, and I'm tired of seeing service and hospitality and retail pop up when we really need manufacturing industry.